Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Hi, I'm Yui Shu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to DATEABLE.
Dating can feel brutal when every rejection, ghosting situation, or almost relationship starts to feel deeply personal. But what if confidence isn't about avoiding disappointment? It's about how you interpret it. In day 3 of our 7 days of dating confidence, we're talking about resilience, mindset, and how to stop letting dating setbacks define your worth. In this episode, we're joined by Case Kenny, who helps us reframe some of the most common frustrations in modern dating. We talk about why being single can actually be your superpower, how to stop internalizing rejection, and why clarity around your own why changes how you approach dating entirely. Listening back, I loved how empowering this conversation felt because it reminds you that confidence doesn't come from everything going perfectly. It comes from trusting yourself enough to keep going anyway. We also discuss how to separate rejection from self-worth, why people's behavior is often more about them than you, and how mindset shifts can radically change your dating experience. If you've been feeling discouraged or emotionally drained by dating, this episode is your reminder that setbacks don't mean you're failing. They're just part of the process of finding the right fit. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you don't miss the next episode of the series. And leaving us a 5-star review helps us so much, more than you may even know. Enjoy.
And Case, the man behind the most interesting sticky note sayings on Instagram ever. I mean, it's just brilliant that all your posts are just text on sticky notes, but so many people are engaged with it. One of my favorites, I don't know about you, Julie, I'm sure you have a favorite too. This is my favorite. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Love that. That's so great. Do you come up with these yourself?
I come up with most of them. I didn't come up with that one, but the longer ones, because I have a lot of feelings and things to say, are by me. The ones where I have like multiple. The other ones, some of them yes, some of them no. But majority of them, yeah. It is funny. Just like I don't know what it is about like writing something out and then putting it in front of my feet that makes it like so much more popular than if it wasn't. It's weird. I don't know what to tell you.
People have a foot fetish. It's
apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whatever.
You find out all your audience just into your feet. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He actually has text. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We did repost one to the DATEABLE feed a while back, and I would have to say this is still my favorite. So we give you a little shout out, but nice. You had shout out to everyone who is cool with being single, but also cool with falling in love. Nothing is broken. There's nothing to fix, just living, but open to the day when someone comes into their life and amplify the fun and happiness they're already got going on. I feel like those are words to wisdom that we're definitely going to break down more on this episode.
Absolutely. Right, and you're more than just sticky notes. Like, it would be great if your full-time job was writing sticky notes, but the man behind the sticky notes is more than that. Who is he? He's 32 years old, lives in Chicago. He's been there for 9 years, originally from Chicago. So a lot of loyalty there. He's pretty single, taking a dating sabbatical. And he's host of the podcast. I love the name of your podcast, New Mindset Who Dis. Also posts, the best sticky note sayings, like we said on Instagram. And he has a line of journals that help you reframe your mindset. The 60-day new mindset journal, which I know 2 of my friends have already gotten, and they're totally like doing it to get over a heartbreak. And then the dating workbook, Single is Your Superpower. So we alluded to this, but why we love you and are still in love with you, Case, is we're all about mindset shift. Because I think a lot of dating is about blaming other people, but we really have to look inward. And something you said recently on an episode, you said, people want change, but they don't want to change. And that's the issue, is that they want the results and the benefits, but they're not willing to take action and change. And part of that change comes with your mindset. And mindset is something that you can control. And in fact, in dating, it's the only thing you can control. So today, we have you on our show to talk about 3 major problems that people may face in dating, and what are some ways to change your mindset around these 3 scenarios. But before we get to that, Julie and I are just so curious. How did you even get into this space? I mean, even in the beginning, you said, I have a lot of feelings. I don't hear many men saying that. So how did you even get into this?
Thank you. Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, almost to the point where people are like, Case, we freaking get it. Like, you're just a guy, you listen to house music, you like Chipotle, we get it. But like, I say that so often because I'm literally just a dude. I never had any aspirations to be a self-help person. I don't even like the word self-help, to be honest, but I say it because it helps people understand what I do in a sense. So I never had any plans to do that. Definitely never in a million years that I think I would be giving advice on dating. I thought maybe at some point I could give advice on other things. I've always been a pretty introspective guy, but on dating, like, hell no. Never even thought of it. And it's funny, I've been podcasting for 2 years. All my quotes come from the podcast. So I appreciate you saying I'm more than just a quote guy. So it's like, even on the podcast, I waited, and this is because I'm 14 years old, I waited until episode 69 to even talk about relationships.
You're such a dude.
Yeah, no, so see, there you go. Validated in the conversation itself. So like, never even thought I was qualified. I still don't think I'm really qualified. I think I am good at some things and it offers value. So of course I lean into it, but never thought I would be doing this. I mean, the whole Case story in 30 seconds is I started writing and podcasting like 3 years ago. I was in a relationship for a long time, 2.5 years. Like, we lived together. It was serious, got out of it. And I was like, who is Case? What am I doing? I had kind of thrown my whole identity behind the relationship, and work popped out of it. And I was like, whoa, who am I without the relationship? And more importantly, who am I without work, right? I should definitely create that. So I started just podcasting as a means to ask myself questions in real time. I think it's much more challenging to ask yourself a question in an audio format than writing. Writing, you could kind of hide behind your words, but I feel like I'm much more vulnerable when I talk. So I just started doing it, talking about mindfulness things, talking about feelings, things like that. And then eventually I was like, all right, well, I have an opportunity here. It is episode 69, so I should do something. And started just giving my thoughts on relationships. And people were like, yo, this is awesome. I respond to what people think is helpful. So I continue to dish up whatever I can serve in that sense. So that's the short version of it.
I mean, we always say it too. Relationships is like one aspect, like everything kind of interplays together when it comes to just how you show up and all of that. So like, what are some techniques other than people starting their own podcast, putting out all their feelings? What are some other ways like people can kind of get in touch with that type of stuff? Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if my advice was, well, you got to start a podcast.
It's like
tell
a
everybody
new
your
podcast
secrets
on the scene tomorrow.
It's very specific. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole, like, the word I use for everything I talk about, it's not self-help, it's not self-development, it's mindfulness. Mindfulness, I like the word because it's much more apt to what I talk about. And dating, happiness, fulfillment, anything comes down to mindfulness. And mindfulness simply means self-awareness. And I think self-awareness is the key to literally everything in life. Like, I could dish up any problem in dating or relationships. And a lot of it comes down to your point earlier, you want something, but you don't do it. You don't know why you're doing something in the first place. You're not listening to yourself. You're just being a kind of a walking mummy in a sense. So like, everything comes down to self-awareness, which is why everything that I talk about kind of is around this idea of asking yourself more questions so you can come to the answers you want. Everyone wants answers, right? They want to know, when am I going to be successful? Who am I going to love? Who's going to love me? When am I going to be happy? All these things. You're not going to stumble into those things. You're going to work into them. And the start of that comes from the questions you ask yourself. So like everything that I talk about, mindfulness, whether it's relationships or just life, comes down to the questions you ask yourself so that you can be more self-aware. And when you're more self-aware, you make better decisions. You date with intention. It just, everything flows together. So it's kind of a vague thing, but when you get down like to the actual execution of it, it just makes sense.
Well, let's take one step back, because now I'm wondering, Case, how did you even find these tools or even know the word mindfulness yourself? I mean, were your parents, did they bring you up this way? Did you learn about this when you were in high school? I don't know. It's something that I recently stumbled upon, and I'm like 80 years old. So I just don't understand like how you were able to stumble upon this all of a sudden and find such a connection with it.
I don't know. I get that question a lot. And like, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't read a lot of books, like self-help books. I'm not, I haven't learned a lot of this from other people. It's funny. I'll do an episode and someone will reach out to me. They'll be like, hey, I'm a clinical psychologist, or I'm a therapist. And like, what you said is this and this and this. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought of this on my own. So it's honestly really weird. And then like people ask me like, how do you do it? Like you seem to have this thing about you where you could just, talk about these things and make sense. And I appreciate that, of course. But to me, it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like if you ask a great athlete, like how they do something, they're like, I don't know. I just do it. It just comes naturally to me. Like if I sit down in my chair right over there on a Sunday and I put on the right music and I give myself the prompt, I'll just vomit out all these feelings in about an hour. Then I'll sit down and record it, and it just comes naturally to me. So I think, but honestly, to answer your question, I think it comes down to I think I'm more self-aware than the average person, and I never had labels to it. I never used words like mindfulness or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm pretty good at reading myself. Not always good on acting on it, but I'm good at reading on it. So I don't know. Not a great answer, but it's just like some people have certain abilities. Like I feel like I'm wired to be an optimist. Everything is glass half full to me. It just is. It's just the way it is.
You know what, though? That's going to be so good because we want to break down. Because I feel like in dating, whatever is going on for you, you're going to get curveballs. Like things just do not go according to plan is what we've all learned. Like whatever stage you're in, whether you're like just dating people for the first time or ending a relationship or whatever it may be, like there's always ups and downs. And I think we always say on this podcast, like, what Yue was saying earlier, it's like the only person you can really control is yourself and how you process this. So I think it's a great way for us to jump into some of these common scenarios so we can kind of see your thought process and kind of put like the words behind like what mindfulness really means.
Okay, cool.
So should we go with the first scenario that's kind of one that people always seem to bring up?
Yes. Can I act this out? I feel like I need to act this out just so we're like, in the right mindset.
Do it. Take it.
We hear this so much, and this has happened to me. This has happened to Julie. This has happened to my cousin's best friend. Like it's just everybody has experienced this exact scenario. I went on a few dates with someone and I really liked them, but they stopped returning my calls and my texts. It looks like they've flaked on me or ghosted me. In fact, we had a date planned for Saturday. It's now Friday. I still haven't heard from them. What's going on? Like, it just seems like they don't like me. Am I undateable? Am I just not worthy? Does something happen between the last time I saw them to now where they changed their mind about me? Did they find something about me on the internet? Like, what is it about me that made them change their mind?
Yeah, your haunted past came out somewhere on the internet and they discovered it. I mean, that's classic ghosting 101. And you never know the true reason. I've never ghosted someone, and I don't say that as like trying to sound noble. I've just never done it because I think it's incredibly rude and disrespectful, and I would never ever want that to happen to me. But I mean, I can look at something like that if I were to be ghosted And I would be fine with it. And again, this is my optimism in effect every time. I'll be like, see exactly. Wow.
Yo, listen, 69 this.
Yo, listen, ghoster. Coming for you.
Get a Chipotle and come over.
Right. Professional it up. I could look at that. I would much rather you ghost me after date 3 than after date 8. So in that respect, I'm super grateful. Like, so that's immediately how I look at things. And I know that's like, people are like, Case, that sounds really cool, but is that realistic? 3 great dates, like maybe you were vulnerable with this person, maybe started to develop feelings, like that really sucks. Like there's no way around it. But I think if you can spin it to something like that and like actually believe it, then that's super helpful. And the other thing, of course, to consider is something like that happens and you feel very isolated and it feels very personal. Of course, it's going to feel personal, but isolated in the sense you're like, man, I got ghosted, or maybe I even got ghosted again. Like this is the second time, this is the third time. There's something wrong with me. I look on Instagram, no one else is having this problem. Everyone else is coupled up and happy, and it's, cuffing season. And it's great. So I think you combine my first mindset of finding gratitude in it in a sense, and the second mindset of realizing that you're not alone in this, and like this isn't an isolated thing that happened to you because you're undateable and unlovable and all these negative assumptions you could jump to. Like it's very common. Men and women don't want confrontation, and it's so much easier just to ghost. So I mean, that's like just at a glance, knee-jerk reaction to that. Like that's how I would approach it.
So because I agree. Everything is, I feel like we tend to take things personally. I've definitely been guilty of this. And I think over the years have been a little more like, try to look at the facts. Like you were just saying, like this happens to a lot of people. It's not just me. Like, how do we move from having this like me mentality to more of like, let's look at the facts and really assess what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's self-awareness 101. I remember I talked about this on the podcast probably 100 episodes ago or something. So you probably didn't listen to it, but I went on like a second or third date with this woman in Chicago. And this was like, the first one was like, whatever. Okay. I always like try to give people a second chance. If I'm like, it wasn't a good date, maybe she was nervous, maybe I was nervous, whatever. Like as long as it wasn't terrible, like I'm down for a second date. Went on a second date. We're like, I don't know, 25 minutes in drinking. And all of a sudden she's like, I ordered an Uber. I got to go feed my dog. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I got to go feed my dog. So I walked her to Uber and she was gone. It happened in like 2.5 minutes. It was like this thing. And I never heard from her. It was just done. It was gone.
What?
Yeah, it was the craziest thing. And I was like, am I like, I didn't say anything. It was this whole thing. Anyway, so I look at something like that and like, I feel like a lot of people have been like, what happened? Like, man, I really messed that up, blah, 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 blah. But I literally look at that and I'm like, that like says a lot about her. Like that, 1, she wouldn't communicate. 2, that's kind of rude, but it is what it is. Or 3, like I look at her and I approach it with immediate empathy. I'm like, humans are humans. Probably, maybe she got back with her ex. Her ex was in town, something like that. Maybe something happened. I don't know, but it is what it is. I could look at that and provide rationale so I don't go down this spiral of self-doubt. And to me, like that comes really easy. I'm not sure that comes easy to other people, but that to me, that's a really just effective way of approaching everything with empathy as an immediate knee-jerk reaction instead of judgment. In fact, I did a podcast on not taking things personally in life. And it's this idea of approaching people as puddles or oceans. Puddles have no depth, right? So you look at a puddle, you're like, yo, that's a puddle. Like it is what it is. Like that person sucks. Like I hate her. She hates me, or whatever negative thing you jump to. Or you could be like, she's a puddle, or she's an ocean. Like there's depth. Maybe she's got something with her ex, maybe something with family. Maybe she's got things going on in her life. It is, it doesn't make the pain subside anymore, but maybe she's got things going on. I'm just going to take a step back, let her live her life. And I think that kind of approach, it really does help you to not take things so personally, being empathetic for me. And fun fact about her, actually, like 5 months later, she texted me and wanted to go out again. So
of course,
circle of life. She's a
ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
They resurrect.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing, though, is like you don't ever know what's going on with people, especially if you've only been on a couple dates with them. Like, how long have you really been with them? Like, you have no idea. So, I mean, I think a lot of us, it is a hard skill to learn to like not take things so personally. But I do think like any way to like look at all the options that could be going on. So at least you can say like, maybe I'm one option, but I'm not the only reason this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. You shouldn't like, maybe you are the reason. It is what it is. If you are the reason and maybe like you just weren't gelling and you're not her person or you're not his person, that's fine. I mean, that's a whole nother subject of moving past, like straight up rejection. Like, I'm not interested in you. That's different from being ghosted, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, give yourself options. Don't like put yourself in a corner where the only option is you're an unlovable person.
Right. I mean, it's kind of hand in hand because it's like confidence. Like if this person doesn't like me and want to be with me, then like F that. Like I'm going to find someone that wants to be with me.
That should be the mindset.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've all, I think all of us have been on the other side of this where you go on a date with someone who's pretty great, but due to some other circumstances, you want to get out for some reason. Maybe you're not ready to get back into dating. Maybe you're still getting over someone. And all you want to do is get out of that date. It has nothing to do with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And we can always like put ourselves on the other side of the situation too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been on dates in years past where I like, I was like, I should go. I need to put myself out there. I need to go on a date. I get there. I'm like, I'm just not ready. I really want to leave this date right now. I'm going to go feed my dog, whatever. Everyone like reacts differently. So like, that's a great way to put it for sure.
So what is like the first step that someone should take to change their mindset as soon as that story comes into their mind of, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I am not dateable? Like, what is something they can do tactfully to change that mindset?
Well, I mean, I think every scenario is different. I mean, I think the most like, this is kind of cliche, but it really does help me. And I did an episode on this recently as well. It's like, not everyone is meant to be permanent in your life. Even someone that you went on 2 dates with that says they're not interested in you, like I still think there's something to be learned from that experience. Like that person could have taught you something in that immediate experience. Like you could still learn to appreciate something good within that experience. Like if you go on a date with someone once and they're not interested in you, this is just me, but I don't know how you could take something personally from 3 hours with someone.
Right.
And even 3 dates, call it 9 hours with someone. Like that's just not enough time. So like, how can you take it personally when someone says they're not interested in you when you haven't even shown them anything to be interested in? So to me, it's like unfathomable. But again, I am human. So this is what I do as I say, not as I do sometimes. Like, but like, I think that is important to know. It's like, this person doesn't even know me. I don't even know this person. So like, I'm not going to take it personally. But so let's say you do get to know someone and there's some, it goes a little somewhere and then it ends. I mean, I still think, you could realize they're permanently. They're there to teach you a truth about yourself. And I think you could find a truth in 4 or 5 dates and then it ends. I still think you could find something there that you could be grateful for, that you could take to the next date. Like, what do they always say? Like, it breaks your heart, but opens your eyes or whatever. Like, I think there's always an opportunity for you to open your eyes. Like, even if it is after 4 dates, to go into dating someone else and leverage some of those truths to be more intentional with how you date. Like, there's an upside to everything. So I don't remember what your original question was, but that's how I look at it.
That was basically it.
All right.
Let's hold that thought because we have a quick message from our sponsors. Have you ever had a time in your life where you genuinely didn't want a serious relationship, but still wanted connection and chemistry? Fling is a dating app that's designed for this intention, where you can meet people who are on the same page and there's no pressure to define what you're looking for, whether you're coming out of a relationship or divorce, or you just don't have the time to really date. Fling is a great alternative to get back out there because casual dating is only problematic when we aren't aligned on expectations. You can keep things light, be upfront about your intentions, and connect with people who are looking for the same vibe. And the best part is that for women, Fling is completely free to join. You can sign up and start using the app immediately without any paywall standing in the way. You also get to choose who can see you, share photos privately, and keep things discreet, which gives you more control over the experience. It's time as women we reclaim the Fling in a way that works for us. Download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. Again, you can download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. Are you in the market for a new mattress? Well, Avocado Green Mattress is truly the answer for you. Their certified organic mattresses sleep cool, relieve pressure, and support your body so you can enjoy deep, restorative sleep. Every Avocado mattress uses healthy, natural materials, and they're even handmade. What really got me was being able to go in and feel it for myself. You can actually walk into one of their 14 plus showrooms or partner locations to test it out. And trust me, once you lie down on one, you'll just know. And you'll also feel good knowing that your bed is made from real certified organic materials like cotton and wool, which provide that perfect blend of breathability, support, and durability. And remember, you can experience them in person at an Avocado showroom or premier retailer near you, or shop online at avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattress and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/DATEABLE. avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable.
I love it. Should we go to scenario 2? Because I feel like what you said kind of goes into that. So
Totally.
I'm going to read this one because I can resonate with this one hardcore.
Act it out, Julie.
I don't even have to act. I just need to just tell you how I feel. But it's like when the relationship ends, you know, it's like, I'm never going to meet someone again. Like, this was my one shot at love. It's going to be terrible to be single and back out there at X age. All the stories that come into your mind when something ends, this feeling of scarcity instead of abundance. Like, how do you work through that type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think there's a couple of different things. I mean, for me, after a breakup, there's all kinds of things that you're going to go through. You're going to go through wanting to find closure to help close that door so that you can open up another door. You're going to go through, you know, whatever the 5 stages of like denial and anger and all that kind of stuff. I don't even know. But I think for me, like ground level foundational, like setting my self-awareness is something I mentioned earlier. It's like, I am grateful. Let's say it ended. Let's say I ended it. Let's say she ended it. Let's say we're both frustrated, whatever, regardless of whether you wanted it to end or didn't want it to end. This is day 1 of growth from there. I talk a lot about this, like in my opinion, and I've been through several breakups that were like 2-3 year long relationships. So I'm not just, you know, theorizing here. It's like out of a breakup, in my mind, you're guaranteed to grow through it. I've never met someone who doesn't get out of a relationship and not grow in some kind of way. So there's immediate, I wouldn't say gratitude, but there's an immediate realization that like you're human, like you're wired to evolve. Like, I don't even know if like in the fields of Africa thousands of years ago, like if you were kicked out of your tribe and you're alone, like you're gonna evolve, like you're gonna learn to like fend and hunt and gather and all these things, right? It's the same with like in 2020, I suppose, but it's like you're wired to evolve and to level up, and you're gonna find a way to do that, whatever form that comes in. That's one thing. So I think that's really important. When you get out of a relationship, I think that the best thing you can do for yourself before you get into that mindset of being like scarcity and like, you know, those kinds of things is reevaluating why you date. Like this was like the whole substance of my new book was you're dating why. Like, why are you dating? And like, I go round and round on this a lot, but it's like, people are like, what do you mean? Why do you date? Like, you're supposed to date. Like, you're human. You're not supposed to be alone. You're supposed to find compatibility with someone. You're supposed to date. You just do it. Like, why question that? Like, yes, of course, that's true. But I think like if you were to ask yourself, why am I setting up dates with someone, or why do I want to date, or even like bigger, like why do I want a partner? I think it's got to be more than just saying like, well, I don't want to be alone, or I want to spend my life with someone, or something like that. Like, it's got to be more than that. Like, those are valid reasons, of course, but I think it's got to be deeper and honestly a little bit more selfish than that. It's got to be more self-serving. Like, my dating why is as cliche as it gets, but it's very self-serving. It's like, I want to find someone who helps make me a better person. And then step 2 of that, of course, is I want to make her a better person, and I want to share in that together, and so on and so forth. But fundamentally, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not a little bit self-serving in that. I want to find someone who pushes me and does all these things. Like, that's why I want to date. But I feel like a lot of times people don't put in the work to understand that. They're like, well, I'm going to date. I'm going to date because I need to find someone. And certainly that's biological in a sense. But I think after a breakup, it's a really good opportunity to reevaluate that and kind of center yourself on your why.
I think that's also really great too, because it provides facts for your, like, why this ended. You can also look at, like, was this the relationship that worked for me? Like, am I going to take this person off a pedestal? Because I think sometimes when you go through a breakup, it's even less about the person. It's more of just like the life you could have had with them, or like not being single again. Like, it's like, how do you kind of work through that stuff and like lift off, like, especially when I think the almost relationship, you've talked about this before, like, or a relationship that doesn't fully get off the ground. There's a lot of like gray area of like, what could have happened?
Okay. Now I've got a better answer for your first question. I'm like, I'm like a train. You got to get me moving a little bit before
2.0. Here we go.
Before I find my answer. Everything I just said, stand. So keep it in.
We're just blaring out that.
You just like delete it out. I mean, I think coming out of a relationship, you could develop these tendencies to be desperate, maybe is a word for it, or frustrated and overeager. I did multiple podcasts on this. I put it in my book, but I call it, don't be so thirsty for potential. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like personally, it's like the reason I've been in relationships that failed is, I was in love with the vision of the future of together. I was in love with version 2.0 of her, not version 1.0. And yes,
we've all been there.
Of us,
Projects.
Yeah, we've all been there.
yeah, it's such a simple thing and everyone knows that, but it's so easy to fall in love with a vision of one, a future together, but two, a version 2.0 of that person where all of their flaws that you clearly recognize now, and some of them are red flags, you're envisioning this 2.0 state where they're no longer the case. So like, that's the thing. I did an episode called Confessions of a Fuckboy. I think I was the fuckboy in that scenario.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you?
Well, you don't have guests, right? So it's probably you.
There's
Guilty.
only one person.
I feel like I just got lawyered. Yeah, okay, fine. It was me. It was definitely me. But that's what I talked about. I talked about, men, I'll say men, fuck boys, I'll say men who are not well-intentioned. They prey on that idea of potential because it's very easy to develop feelings for potential. It's very easy to develop a vision for potential. And people who are not, men of character or women of character, however you want to slice it, like they prey on that, right? They'll give you the dangle, the carrot of what version 2.0 is, of what a future is, and you buy into it. But even outside of people do it, we also do it to ourselves. We get in our own way because we latch on to those ideas, and then you wake up 3 years later and you're like, well, for one, it's never been enough for me in the immediate. There's always been this red flag that was never going to work itself out. And like that red flag was enough for me to probably have said or done something in the immediate. So I think that is really important in like grounding, particularly after you get out of a relationship, because it's like, to your point, like it's scary. You're alone, you're older, there's many things to consider. I think grounding yourself in why you're dating, maybe looking back and realizing that relationship didn't align with your why. So that feels good. You could pat yourself on the back or be grateful that now you're on day one of actually aligning with your why. And then when you're out there and you're doing it, I call it your hoe phase in a positive way. You're not thirsty. So
this is the secret to mindfulness, people. Your hoe phase. You heard it here first.
But okay, so here's the other mindset that some people may have, and I've totally been there, is the idea of starting over is so daunting, especially as we get older, especially as we've invested so much into relationships. Maybe you've met the parents, maybe you've friends, maybe you've even talked about moving in together or have moved in together. You've invested so much of your life into a relationship, and the thought of just picking back up, starting from ground zero is so overwhelming. What do you say to people in this mindset?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I only really try to give advice from what I've experienced, and I've never experienced that fully. Like I was in a long relationship, we lived together and I got out of it, but I think I clearly knew it wasn't right for me. So I it was easier for me to adapt that. I mean, I wrote a whole book called Single is Your Superpower. So clearly I have a filter when I look at being single. So I mean, if you're single and it's now what you want, I think there's peace that comes in accepting where you are. I mean, it just is what it is. I think also this idea of closure is really important there. I think once even if you don't want to be single and you're single and it broke your heart and it's terrible, like I have a ton of empathy for that, but like there's some things you can change, there's some things you can't change. So like the first step in that certainly is providing yourself with closure. I've done episodes on this as well. The closure is something that you have to create for yourself, 100%. Like, I think a lot of people think that closure is like hooking up with your ex one last time to like be done with it, like, which is the most bananas idea to me in the world. Like, I could not think of a worse idea. Closure comes to you in the form of reassurance from your partner that you weren't right for each other, or some like mutual peaceful acceptance that, you're better off not together or something like that. I don't like, to me, that's not true closure. That's like you basically needing someone else's permission almost to move forward. And like the whole idea is you need to create closure yourself. Like you have to find a way to do that. I can't give blanket blueprints on what that looks like for everyone, but I think it comes from kind of everything that we touched on so far. But then from there, it's like, and I know it's not easy. Everyone's different. It's tough for me to give blanket advice and say, being single is amazing for everyone at every age and every, city and so on. Like I'm in Chicago, I'm 32 and I'm a man. Like it's much easier for me to be single, right? Like, I understand that. But I think like, if I look at life, like you'll never look back and say, I regret being single. Like I've never heard someone say that. They say, I regret shitty relationships. I regret putting myself in this scenario, that scenario. But I've never heard of someone say, I regret that time where I was just single and discovering things. Like I've never heard anyone say that, because ultimately, hopefully that'll come at a point where you're looking back and like reflecting. So I don't know, long-winded way of saying it comes from creating that closure for yourself, not mutual closure, but self-pointed closure, and then aligning that with a sense of day one gratitude that single really is your superpower, to drop my cliche book title. It really is. Like, you'll never regret being single. You regret the things that you do poorly. You regret the decisions you make when you know you shouldn't make them. You regret the things that you do that aren't aligned with your truth and your why. But I don't think you'll ever regret just being single. So like trying to find a way to make peace with that, like that's how I do it. And I think that that's helpful.
So I think you're psychic, because that is our third scenario, which is I'm single. I've been single for a while. What is wrong with me? Why are so many people coupled off? Even people who I think aren't that great have found partners. They say there's a lid for every pot. Where is my lid? Is there something wrong with me? And you've touched upon a lot of this already in, you talked about your journal, single is your superpower. And you've already, I think, like for me, already talked about the first step, which is finding closure from your previous relationships when you're single. I would say most people who are single aren't actually single. We talked about this in previous episodes.
Yes.
They're not.
The single scale.
Yeah, they're like not fully single, because they're either getting into something or getting out of something. So,
or someone's consuming your mind that's not even
exactly.
there.
You have a mental relationship with someone still. So step number one is finding that closure, but shifting that mindset to really embrace the power of singlehood and seeing it as almost a privilege. What are some other tactics that people can use for that?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. That's a big part of it. Like, I love being single. Like, I love being selfish and doing my own thing and just being a nerd and just like whatever. And that's great. So like freedom is a big thing. I think the other thing is like, I look at life and I look at like what my goal is in life. You can say things, I just want to be happy, I want to be fulfilled, but ultimately my goal is to minimize regret. I don't want to die and look back and have regrets. And I think a lot of regrets we have in life are things that we came to believe that aren't based on experience, right? We believed what someone else said without seeing it, touching it, feeling it, smelling it, like so on and so forth. So with that as the context, I think that being single is the ultimate opportunity to experience things for yourself and figure it out for yourself. Not just like what you like and what you don't like and what you're attracted to and those kinds of things, but that's very important too. But it's like, I always think it's funny when like I'll read a dating article on Thought Catalog or something and it'll be like 50 red flags. I'm like, wow, 50 is a lot, first of all. I don't know if I have the capacity to read 50 red flags, but all right, go on. And like, there are all these ones and I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely one. But like that one doesn't really, I don't know. Like things like that. It's like, I need to go out and see if it's a red flag for myself.
Right.
I think regret comes from assuming other people's truths as your own. And that could be in any sense. That could be a career, that could be a personality, anything like that. But dating, it's so true. If someone says that a guy who isn't overly romantic and doesn't get you flowers is doesn't deserve your attention, like, yeah, romance, it sounds great, but maybe that's like, until you experience it yourself, maybe that's like not that important to you because he makes you feel a certain way.
Absolutely.
Jump to a conclusion and like, so things like that, right? I just think like being single is the ultimate opportunity to go out there and see and touch and smell and do whatever, insert verb here, you want to experience things for yourself and make your own conclusions. No more assumptions, more conclusions. No more assumptions, but like that's the whole thing. And to me, like that's awesome. Like there's no greater way to take power of your life than to prove things for yourself. And that's the greatest opportunity. So when I mentioned hoe phase earlier, that's just a clickbait. That's just a clickbait title, right? It gets eyeballs on it, right? But I mean, it's the idea. For one, if you do know your why and you do want to find someone, you've got to get out there. Like, it's not going to bust through your wall like the Kool-Aid man and come and find you, like they say. Like, you got to get out there and do it.
DoorDash delivery guy.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't Instacart
Hey,
Postmate.
Sometimes are cute.
Come up.
I'm like,
come up.
yes, I'll give
No.
you a tip. Hi.
I don't even know what they look like anymore with their masks
Oh no,
on.
I go downstairs just so I can look at them. I'm like, ooh, who needs some business
come
right
up?
now?
I think though, Case, you said something. Because I look at myself, I'm single right now, and I'm like in my like mid 30s where you're supposed to be settled down, right? And I actually look at it and I'm like, I don't mind being single. It's the fact that society has told me that I shouldn't be single and I should feel badly for wanting to be single. And I think that's the mindset shift that needs to shift, right?
Oh.
Like to get like, is this what I want or is this what I'm being fed?
That's the biggest thing. You're like tossing me softballs here. Like, this is great. Great interview. Like,
We're just
I look
mindful
amazing.
too, don't
clearly.
worry.
Like, my biggest thing.
You're so thirsty right now. It's not even funny. Just kidding.
my biggest thing, and I this is always my advice anytime I do an interview. If it's not about dating, about anything, give us like a one-liner or whatever. It's I dropped this on a podcast a while back. It's that there's no right way to live your life. Okay, fair enough. But there's a wrong way. And the wrong way is to think that there's a right way. Like, that's the biggest thing for me. And I think like we put ourselves in corners so frequently in every sense of our life. Oh, I haven't made $1 million because that's what I'm supposed to have done. I'm not with someone because I'm 35 and I'm supposed to, like, there truly is no right way to do that. I mean, and you could look at yourself and find validation of that. I'm sure everyone can, in a sense. Like, I make a living from posting pictures of my feet on Instagram with quotes. Like, clearly there's no right way to make money. Right.
Right.
And the same goes for dating and relationships. I think like it doesn't dissipate the pressure. I think there's always going to be pressure. Like it's not going to poof go away. But I think there is a lot of peace and freedom that comes from recognizing that there's no blueprint. There's no right way to do it. And no matter what Instagram tells you, like it's just not true. So to me, like that offers like so much freedom, and it just like makes me calm down when I do kind of get in that pressured mentality. But I mean, yeah. You nailed it. I mean, it's totally up to you, and the timeline is totally up to you.
It's so important to recognize what your truths are. And like you said, Case,
Yes.
like we can't take other people's truths as our own. For example, the other day I went on Facebook, one of my high school friends posted like 50 bucket list items you must accomplish in your life. And these were hers. And one of them was like, go to Florida. Another one was like, witness someone die. I'm like, no, that's not a bucket list item for me. But she was like, put a heart next to ones that you've accomplished. I'm like, no, these are not my truth. But I think we see the same thing with articles that are like 50 things that you should think about when you're single, 50 things to do to make yourself more dateable. And it's not, these aren't universal. So it's like tapping into yourself and your intuition of what singlehood is about.
Yeah.
Totally.
Those are interesting bucket lists. Yeah. But I mean,
the list goes on.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's it. Like, I mean, I think your truths come from your experience. Like, I'd be hard pressed to think of a truth in my life that I have truly adopted that I haven't done or experienced myself, because that would be so disingenuous to yourself, and you would feel it and you'd feel misaligned. So I think that's the case, like being single, getting out of a relationship, no matter like how you ended up being single, it's like the greatest opportunity to hit reset on so many things, right? Hit reset on your why, so that one, you can look back and like validate that you're out of the relationship for a reason, because it doesn't align with your why. And then that you could find closure in that. And then you could use that to move forward to, find and validate or create new truths that are important to you at this stage in your life that you maybe didn't have previously. Like, it's chapters. My latest podcast episode was this idea of life isn't just one long big chapter, it's multiple chapters. And like super, super cheesy, of course. But like when you look at it that way, you're much more apt to make changes. I think if you consider life to be one long chapter, you're like, oh shit, like I make a wrong move there, it's going to plummet me. But if you look at it as multiple chapters and you can open and close, them accordingly, it just like, it shows you that like your happiness is tied to words like grace and humility, like the enthusiasm to close a chapter that even if you didn't want to close it, you're okay with it because you can open up another one, and in that one you can discover truths and validate your why and so on and so forth. So like,
I love that analogy because it's also like you have to close a chapter in order to open a new one. You can't skip ahead because then you won't know what's going on.
This is
That's really important. I do want to park this idea of digging into the why because I want to do this exercise with Julie. We need to do this. But do you think some people are just too good at being single to the point where they don't want to find love? What do you say to those people?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I haven't gone on a date in a year, which sounds weird coming from the guy who gives dating advice. I have plenty of experience over like my mid-20s and early 30s, but like I love being single. Like it's so like I've grown so much through it. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like I don't think it's forever. Like I know it's not forever. I know eventually I'll be like, all right, it's time. Like I've got my selfish out, selfish in quotes, not a negative thing, my priorities. And now I'm realigned with wanting to find that person who's aligned with my why and so on and so forth. So if someone's like, I'm scared that I don't want a relationship, I would say that's fine. Don't worry about
forever.
it. Like it's totally cool. Like eventually you're going to evolve and want to. Maybe you're the outlier and you truly never want to be in a relationship. Well, there you go. That's validation that there's no right way and you can still be happy. So either way, I think there's a path.
I think another thing is like this kind of goes full circle to your Post-it quote that I pulled out of like that it doesn't need to be an either or so much. Like I think for so long I've thought too, like if I like being single, then does that mean I'm not a relationship person? And I've seen at least in my own self, and I'm sure others have too. It's like, I can thrive being single. I can thrive being in a relationship. It doesn't need to be so like two options that you have.
Yeah. It's not mutually exclusive. That's so true. And everything changes. I mean, you could wake up tomorrow and not want what you thought you wanted the day before. Like that's the gift of being human. It's the power of choice and then the power of action to act on that. So yeah, I mean, it's yes, it's no, it's whatever you want in the moment. So I see no problem with that at all.
I was just going to say that because nothing is permanent. So whatever you feel today, just take a mental image of it and do regular check-ins with yourself. How do I feel today about being single? How do I feel today about where I am in my life? And just keep doing that because you are a dynamic person. You're going to keep changing.
That's why I think journaling is so important. And not to tout my own products, but just journaling in general or some kind of conscious question asking is so important.
Totally.
And like I developed this journal concept and people are like, Case, why did you put this one question every single day? Like we get it. You think it's an important question for 60 days. I'm like, well, do it for 60 days and then come back to me and tell me how your answer changed. Changed a lot. If it was the same, then you probably aren't being honest with yourself. Like I mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm like kind of ADD, like over 60 days, I'm going to be all over the place. But I feel like it's human nature to change and you just need validation of that. And you need to do to your point, little check-ins in some way to kind of brain dump how you're feeling. Because I think if you don't take the time to like analyze yourself and not like psychoanalyze like Mercury's in retrograde, like what's my sign, what's going on kind of vibe. And no hate there. I always never really understand that, but asking yourself pointed questions about how you're feeling versus how you want to feel, and then finding what's the path to doing that. One day you might want to feel this way. The next day you might want to feel another way. But unless you figure that out, you're just blind. You're just like letting the wind drift you, right? So it comes down to what we opened the podcast with, self-awareness. Like self-awareness is everything. Self-awareness guides your why, it guides your intention, it guides your action, everything. So clearly a big fan of self-awareness.
In case you and I got to do a little bit of investigative work with Julie, because I want to know her why for dating.
Oh, is this?
Yeah, we're going here.
Yeah, I mean, I think my why, I definitely have a side similar to what Case said of someone that helps me grow into like the best version of myself. That's the selfish piece, but then also someone that I can also help them grow and support them and build a life with someone. I think that's really ultimately is like, I want someone that is a life partner that really is a partner. I think the key word for me is equal partner.
I love that. I think that's very human. One of the things that I didn't weave into an answer, but I think is really, really important that a lot of people said was helpful is I did this episode. I called it, what did I call it? Imperfect love for perfect people. No, perfect love for imperfect people, right? The other way around, clearly. Basically talking about this idea of, I have friends who are single in their 30s. These are men, well-off, successful, good-looking dudes, right? And
where are they? Let's bring them on the podcast.
We have people that want to meet them.
You can just pause right there. No, just kidding. We have a lot of single women who listen to the podcast, so they're like, "Oh, hey."
I'll put their handles in the description.
Thanks, you.
I talk to them, and like sometimes the conversation is like, "Man, I think I'm always going to be single because I can't find the perfect woman." And then I hear it on the other side too, and I'm I'm like, man, first of all, I'm giving advice here from something I haven't lived because I'm not married and I haven't found the perfect person yet. But I think we need to drop this idea of the perfect love. Oh, like so hard.
Yes.
Like, and I get that. I want to find someone I'm physically attracted to and that'll last forever. I want to find someone who's successful and driven. I want someone who's funny. I want someone who's compassionate and kind and all these things. But at a certain point, you're gonna find someone who is so compassionate and empathetic and funny and driven, but they're not your peak vision of physical attraction. But that's going to be totally fine because everything aligns around those more important things, or vice versa, whatever. Who am I to judge? Maybe, the physical thing erodes some of the other things. Who knows? But regardless, like I just find these conversations where it's like, it has to be perfect. It has to be absolutely perfect. And for me, it's like the perfect thing about relationships I've had in the past, and like my vision for the perfect relationship is how that person makes you feel. That's it.
Totally.
That's everything, right? I mean, how do you define connection? It's a feeling, right? So it's like, think about, like, when you're thinking about your why, that's the reason I brought it up. It's like, what is the feeling associated with your why? And there's lots of different adjectives you could bring up. You could say supported or vulnerable or driven or whatever. Figure out what that adjective is. And like, that is what makes a relationship and a person perfect, not like your bullshit checklist that so many people want. So anyway, I thought I would add.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. If you're someone whose book talk algorithm is basically just dark romance recommendations, I have one for you. Losers Part 1 and Part 2 by New York Times bestselling author Harley LaRue. I love this book because it transported me back to high school. It's a dark romance that starts with a former queen bee reconnecting with the 4 guys she used to bully in high school. What begins as revenge turns into something way deeper. Found family, healing, queer representation, kink exploration, and honestly, some of the most emotionally layered relationships I've ever read in this genre. It was such a page turner, I could not put it down. The relationships between all the characters are what made the story so addictive. And if you're a physical book collector, the new deluxe editions are gorgeous. They have stenciled edges, exclusive fan art, and the foil covers connect to create one complete set. You can find Losers Part 1 and 2 by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat, comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. And that's why I've been living in Quince lately. If you know me, you know I wear their linen set constantly, whether I'm traveling or just running errands. It's just one of those outfits that makes getting dressed feel effortless. Quince makes incredible elevated essentials using premium materials, all without the traditional retail markup. And in addition to their clothes, I've been obsessed with their 14-karat gold jewelry to finish off an outfit. Now, a simple pair of hoops or a delicate chain makes even a basic look feel so intentional. The best part is everything's priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
I think my other why, I was thinking about this as you were saying it, is like someone that fully sees me and I fully see them. Like they can have the perfections. Like no one's perfect. Come on, no one is perfect. Like the end of the day, I think, I love this whole like how they make you feel, because I feel like for so long, and I'm sure others can relate to this, like when I was, I think, at the peak of my like serial dating life, like I was always just
life. Your whole life.
It was my chapter, okay? The chapter is closed. It's on a new chapter now. So my serial life chapter serial dating, not serial life, serial dating chapter. I feel like with that, I was always just trying to see like, did that person like me? Did they want to go out with me again? And I never thought about, or did they fit the criteria? Like Casey was saying, do they have a good job? Do they, look a certain way? All of that. And I think ultimately it is all down to the feelings. And like, there's techniques too. Like, this is going to sound super bougie, but I'll say it anyways. Yue knows this, but one of my favorite things that I would do is like, this started actually after a really bad breakup, but I would go to the hot springs in Sonoma, and I literally went by myself. It was like one of the things, and now I do this on a semi-regular basis, and it's like a couple solid days of like reflection where it's like you have your journal, there's different books I've read that's like visualization techniques and stuff, and like one of them was like, can you imagine how you would feel like on a Saturday with your partner? Like what would you be doing? How would you be feeling? Like all of that. And I think just getting in touch with that stuff does help you recognize like when it actually shows up and you can see those feelings.
I love that. I mean, kudos to you for doing that. I think that's a great opportunity to reset. I mean, I think all these things go hand in hand so powerfully, right? I talk a lot about the law of attraction, for example. Similar idea here, right? Once you develop your why, you're going to want to visualize it, right? But the law of attraction for me isn't about visualizing what you want. It's visualizing what you believe in, right? And what you believe in, belief is a belief in a truth, and a truth is a feeling. A truth is a value. It's something like kindness or empathy or confidence, right? Things like that. It's the same for your why. All these concepts go hand in hand so well together. It comes down to a feeling and visualizing a feeling and aligning the feeling with your why and so on and so forth. And then, validating that feeling based on experience when you're in your hoe phase and like things like that. I just think like, it's always funny to me talking about dating and relationships because what we're talking about right now isn't particularly groundbreaking. No. Like everyone knows this stuff, but people don't act on it and people don't iterate on it enough, right? We don't think about it enough. So it's like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just pointing out the fact that there is a wheel and you need to stare at it a lot and often through some kind of introspection practice, to your point, exactly what you do in Sonoma or journaling or something like that. It just forces you to evaluate, why are you doing what you're doing? Or even more fundamentally, why do you think you want what you want? Do you actually want what you want? Or do you think you want what they told you to want? Like there's all these different layers to it.
I ask this all the time, every 5 minutes, why am I doing this? But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your why doesn't need to be as profound as Julie's why either. Like your why could simply be, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find companionship, or my why is simply I want someone to hang out with on Saturdays. There's nothing wrong with that because our whys can change. So don't put too much pressure on what your why is either.
And my why, I love that because my why, when I remember a friend of mine, and I think this also gives you kind of a cue to what you're actually looking for. Like I remember back in my serial dating phase chapter, when I said my hoe phase. Okay. That's really what
it's already
called.
Been coined. Okay. Just use it.
So I remember telling my friend I was looking for a relationship and she's like, are you really? Like, are you sure that's what you want? Just your actions aren't really doing that. And I remember my why of why I wanted a relationship was to have someone that would go out with me and my friends. And I'm like, okay, this is actually a sign that maybe I am just I'm more in a party stage and that's okay. That's where I'm at right now.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's such a good point. Both of you brought up. Yeah. I'm really glad you said that because coming up with a deep, complex, value-driven why, relax. You don't necessarily need that right now. It depends on where you are in your life. Depends on how many whys you had before that why, right? You'll have many. If your why is you just want to F, then that's fine. That's a why. Good for you. I'm not going to judge you.
To have fun.
Just to have friends and fun.
Friends and food.
But I think also, myself, Case, like we do this. This is like our lives, right? And UA, I'm not
True.
letting you off the hook. I'm asking what your why is after.
Yeah.
But like all of us, like we are introspective. We like mindfulness and changing mindset is literally what we do every day. So I think, yeah, meet yourself where you are, and it's okay if you're not at that stage. I think that's a really great point. So
Yeah.
UA.
I love that.
Yeah, and I do want to speak for not speak for, but I want to speak for myself who is in a relationship. So my why is not for dating, but my why is why am I in a relationship? And sometimes when you're in a relationship, you have to ask yourself that too. Like, why did I put myself here? And my first why was I want to create memories with someone. And then I had to dig deeper. Like, why do you want to create memories with someone? Is because as an only child, I didn't have a chance to mold a life with someone. It was always me and my parents who were from a different generation. So I always wanted to share my life with someone. And then I dug a little bit deeper than that. Like, why is it that you want to share a life with someone? Because I want to mold a life and create a life with someone. And I realized that my perfect partner has nothing to do with the person, really. It's his willingness to mold and share a life with me and want to keep our life evolving into one. So that's my why. But I had to dig 3 layers down to find that.
Hey, we always say we got to dig into the why. That's what we do all the time.
Why? But that's a good,
the 3 whys technique. There's actually a research method.
Yes.
The first time you say why, the second time you go deeper, and vice versa.
Yep.
Keeps
3
going.
whys. Yeah.
I love that. I love talking about why. I always think it's funny because it's like Zoolander where he's like, but why male model? He's like, I just told you, like we just talked about it. Like I love going deeper, right? I love going like asking why as many times as possible. The 3 whys, I've never heard of that. This is one of those things that I talk about but didn't know was a thing. You could break down any problem, any frustration, anxiety by just asking why until you hit that common denominator. So that's great. I love that.
This is a new podcast episode. Give us a shout out.
Love that. I will.
Yeah, there you go. 3 whys. Ooh, that's a good one. You could riff on that for hours.
Oh my gosh. A lot of feelings. Write it down.
So should we go into takeaways? Because there's so many. And I mean, I think at the ultimately what we're saying with this is reframing your mindset isn't something that needs to happen overnight. I think that's something that's really important to say as a takeaway. Like we've all talked on this episode about just different evolutions, how you dig deeper. Like this is something that it keeps going. It can be in different chapters of your life, like all of that. So I think like that piece, and then also having compassion for yourself. I love this part about, just because you go in one path doesn't mean it's forever. What can you learn from it? What can you do to use that to get you back on the path that you want to be? And your path might zigzag over time. Like things change. Like I know for me personally, like there's been times where I've been all about finding that partner and other times where I moved to a new city and I was just trying to build a life for myself. Like it doesn't need to be so static of like, I want this, I don't want this. Like just let yourself just get that fluidity.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Agreed.
That's a great takeaway. I have 3 words as takeaways that keep popping up in my mind.
Why?
The why. There you go. That's it. That's my takeaway. Boom. Mic drop. So the 3 words are intuition, gratitude, and appreciation. So the intuition part comes from our earlier conversation, Case, is that I feel like what you've stumbled upon comes from your intuition, which we all have. But for some reason, we don't listen to our intuitive self too much. We always are looking for other people's paths that they've paved or other people's advice. Like, what would you do in the situation? But we forget to dig deep into how we function as human beings. A lot of what we're saying could be common sense. It's just that we're not digging it up from ourselves. We're trying to look for it elsewhere. And this idea of gratitude is really great, especially when you're closing out a relationship or starting a relationship, giving gratitude to your current situation, where you are today, and just knowing that you are a privileged person by being in your situation today, whether you're single or not. And the third is appreciation. And I heard someone tell me this the other day. They were like, practice appreciating everything that leaves you. So it could be physical. It could be like throwing away the trash. It could be like giving away money, or it could be giving someone a hug and then they leave you. Or it could be digital, like digitally sending someone an emoji. give appreciation to everything that leaves you, and then it will make you more mindful in your actions. That you don't take these things for granted. So when you let someone go in your life, you appreciate them. Thank you for being in my life. Even if you don't tell them to their face, you say it out to the universe, because that already changes your perspective on someone leaving you. It's not so much a loss anymore. It's just, I'm appreciating this.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, I could just add a point to that. I really vibe with that. That's my other favorite word. I'm surprised I haven't said vibe in this episode. I say it all the time.
You just said it twice. So
there you go. I'm going to work it in towards the end here. Vibe. Yeah, I mean, there's a quote that I referenced on one of my episodes. It was like, you erase the mistakes of your past, you erase the wisdom of your present. And I think that's so powerful, because we tend to look back at failed relationships and we want to erase them. We're like, I wasted my time, that it wasn't real, all these things. And it's like, okay, yeah, it didn't work out and it wasn't right, but look at like what you know now. So exactly to your point there, you can carry these things with you without wishing them away. And then to your first point about intuition, everyone has intuition, of course. It just depends on how self-aware you are of that intuition and then how willing you are to act on it. But the great thing about intuition, just to tie everything together, is your why comes from your intuition, of course. But once you tap into your intuition, it becomes a superpower, because it gives you purpose and it gives you guidance. I think a lot of the times the reason we're frustrating in dating is we're just doing stuff. We're swiping, we're saying yes when we should say no, we're saying no when we should say, like, all these different things, because we don't have like a North Star. But the great thing about, once you tap into your intuition, you're like, okay, my intuition is telling me that I need this in a person and my why is this. It gives you a North Star, because I wrote about this in my book. I called it putting it down, flipping it, and reversing it, which is just funny. The idea that whatever it is that you're looking for in a partner, let's say you're looking for someone who's kind, right? Let's just like really boil it down. Like, how can you expect to find someone who's kind unless you're kind yourself?
Yes.
You realize that, you're like, okay, well, now I have a purpose. My purpose is to be kind. Obviously, that's the simplest example ever, but like, it gives you purpose. Now you know what to do, right? So you're not just like waiting and hoping and kind of blind. It doesn't tell you exactly what to do, but it gives you purpose, right? So like, I love how everything like ties together like that.
I think the why is so important, and that, I guess, is another takeaway I have. Like, I love that. I mean, we dig into the why all the time, but I love what you were saying about just like, what is your personal why? Because I feel like we are always looking at like the whys of modern dating and what's happening, and why people do the things they do. But like, I love this personal why, because then you can look at all these thoughts that come in your mind that we all talked about, these like jolts that happen. And when you get broken up with, or like when you break up with someone, if you can really point to your why and see how they weren't your why, that gives you facts. And I think having facts is really important, because if we don't have facts, we create stories in our heads. And that's when we tend to tie it back to ourselves and why we're the problem and all this stuff. And that's just like a bad slippery slope. That's a downward spiral that no one needs to be in. It's like, how do I focus on my why and what works for me?
And that's why journaling is so great. You've got a paper trail.
Yeah, totally.
You've got all the evidence, right?
Or recording it.
Yeah.
I think the recording it, like, you don't have to do a podcast like Case, but like even a voice memo, like if you're not someone that likes to write, like I feel like that's a great way to get things out, or just like having something that has prompts. Like I think that piece is like a really good part to get the thoughts going.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Can't say the
certainly.
thoughts.
And we want to record your thoughts too, Kate. So one final question for you is, what do you think being dateable means?
Being dateable. Well, I mean, the most cliche answer in the world is just being real, of course. Because I think the second you're not real, the sooner you're setting yourself up for failure, certainly. For one, when you're not real, your intentions aren't aligned. And two, it's confusing as F to anyone else. Like, it's just going to be confusing. You're going to be putting out all kinds of weird signals. So, I mean, like, everyone is dateable. No one is not lovable, right? And I think the predicaments we put ourselves in are when we're trying to be someone we're not, or we're not being well-intentioned with what we want. So both of those kind of evaporate when you settle on, I'm just gonna be real. And I know that's not easy. And like some people being like, well, the real me is boring, like, or the real me like doesn't have that many great things. Join the club, man. I mean, everyone's average. You're setting yourself up for failure when you think that you need to be, some really cool dude or woman. Like just be yourself. Like you'd be surprised like how many other people are having the same exact feelings, and if you just kind of drop that layer there, you would be so much better off. So yeah,
find your perfect imperfect person, right?
Exactly. There you go.
All comes back. Yeah, well, this has been so great. We always say this, dating is all about mindset, and really the only thing you can control in dating is your mindset. So all of this, I've already started to reframe some of my mindsets shifts from this conversation. I hope others did too.
In case if people want to learn more about what you offer, your journals, your podcast, your relationship status, where can they stalk you?
Instagram's best, case.kenny, or newmindsetwhodis.com. But Instagram, you can get everything there.
I assume your podcast is on every single player.
Oh yeah. Yes. So everywhere.
He's everywhere.
I mean, this is a great way. Like I'm all about doing like the retreats like I mentioned, but that's just not realistic on a day-to-day. So, put on New Mindset Who Dis and you get like a little tip every day.
Yeah.
Great. And then journal while you're at it, right?
There you go. Yeah, I actually on the podcast, I do these things called music and mindfulness where I team up with DJs and we create
love that.
So you can work out to it. So even there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You could work out, you could sit and be quiet.
I listened to you on a walk the other day and it was really nice. You're like looking in nature and then you're reflecting on your own stuff. It's great.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Isn't that just so creepy how many people are out there just listening to you over and over again? You have no idea who they are. And they're like, Case, I feel like I really know you. You're like, who dis?
Yeah, it's wild.
Who dis? I don't know.
New phone. Yeah, it's
new
wild.
Phone, who dis?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks so much, Case. And for everyone who's left us reviews in Apple Podcasts, we really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please do so, because these are the reasons of how we get great guests like Case. I mean, like, he looked at our Apple Podcast, was like, these girls are legit. All right, I'll go on it.
It's true.
He's in between his dinner breaks. He had dinner number 1. Now he's about to start dinner number 2. He's like, okay, I will give them some time. So it's super simple and quick. Just 5 stars. Leave a little, I love these girls. They're so great. That's all you need. That's it. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Stay dateable.
When she said I don't dance now, I make money moves, that was a mission statement for a whole new generation.
Respect, but that's not the Mount Rushmore. Listen, cash rules everything around me. When that line dropped, it changed the whole hustle. The greatest tracks are never finished. They're just debated forever. Introducing the Sprite Living Track List. 50 tracks that shape the culture from 6 decades of hip-hop. Scan the QR code on a Sprite or Sprite Zero Sugar to see the full breakdown. Obey your thirst. Sprite.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.